You're on the couch, been scrolling for an hour, not looking for anything. A woman dancing at her own wedding, someone's Monday morning in London, an old friend who never came back from Australia. You keep scrolling, but something's happening now. Somewhere between the reels, your mind opens a door. The version of you who took that job, the one who married the other person, the one who moved to another city, the one who acted while you were still thinking. You didn't ask to see them, but there they are. Everyone does this, nobody talks about it. The phone was just the trigger. It happens at red lights, in the shower, at 2 a.m. when the ceiling won't stop being interesting. The friend you drifted from and never called back. The city you almost moved to. The person you thought about calling but didn't. And now they're not in your life anymore. Thoreau called this, nearly 2 centuries ago, lives of quiet desperation. Not depression, not any kind of crisis, just the low, humming sense that something in you isn't awake. We call it daydreaming. But daydreaming is directionless. This has a specific shape. It's always the life you could have had. Your mind is doing something particular to you. You know this feeling from another place too, not the phone, not the memory. You're traveling far from home, perhaps somewhere in Greece. You're at a taverna with friends you've known for years. And you're talking to them the way you never quite talk at home. Louder, more alive, about things you don't usually say. You wake up early because there's a city to walk. You talk to strangers. Whatever holds you together at home, the routine, the version of you people expect, none of it made the flight. That version of you doesn't exist at home, but it feels more like you to yourself. That's the real ghost, not the alternate life, the alternate you. But you can feel it fading already. It won't survive the airport. Which is the real one, the one you are, or the one you become? 3 thinkers saw this coming, long before anyone could scan a brain. Søren Kierkegaard wrote a line in his journal that has been quoted ever since. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. You never know which road was the real road until it's already behind you. Every fork you take generates a shadow, the fork you didn't. 100 years later, Sartre gives the feeling a name, anguish. Every act of freedom cancels every alternative. Choose to be a father, you close the door on the one who wasn't. Choose to stay, you close it on the one who left. But it was William James, writing in America in 1890, in the middle of a 1,000-page book on the psychology of consciousness that most people would never read, who said it most gently. He made a list of everything he could have been, the athlete, the millionaire, the philosopher, the saint, and admitted the thing was simply impossible. To become any one of them, he wrote, the rest must be suppressed. All other selves become unreal. None of them could explain why the mind actually does it. Then the 2000s arrived, and someone put a scanner around it. A neurologist named Raichle noticed something odd about brain scans. When people weren't doing anything, a specific network in the brain lit up. Instead of less activity, we see more activity in the brain scans. He called it the default mode network. It's what your brain does when you're not doing anything else. And what it's doing, mostly, is running simulations. Past scenarios, future scenarios. What if I had? What if I hadn't? The brain is a prediction machine. One of the ways it learns is by rehearsing lives that never happened. Then it gets stranger. In 1982, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky ran an experiment. They gave people a story. 2 men are stuck in the same traffic on the way to the airport. Both miss their flights. Mr. Crane's flight left on time. Mr. T's was delayed and pulled away 5 minutes before he arrived. Which one is more upset? 96% of people say Mr. T's, even though the outcome is identical. The closer the alternate reality, the more it burns. Which is why you don't imagine being a Roman emperor. You imagine deep conversations with someone you once deeply connected with. You imagine the specific friend you lost touch with. None of this is broken. The brain runs these simulations because they help it learn. The ache at 11 p.m. on the couch is just the same engine running after the stakes are already settled. 2 things make this louder now than it was for Kierkegaard. First, we make more visible choices. Careers, cities, partners, kids, timing. Everything a decision. Everything supposedly reversible. More forks, more ghosts. Second, and this is the new one, the ghosts now have Instagram accounts. The friend who moved to London, the one who left the corporate job 3 years ago and hasn't come back. Every scroll is a real-time feed of the specific lives you didn't pick. Not abstract counterfactuals. Actual people with actual photos of the beach they're on right now. You're not just imagining anymore, you're watching. The ghost isn't evidence you chose wrong, it's evidence you had choices at all. A person with no options doesn't get haunted by roads not taken. There were no roads. The ache is the price of having stood at a fork, of having been the kind of person who had one to stand at. And that version of you at the taverna, the one you were sure would die at the airport, wasn't a different person. It was you in a different setting. That version isn't lost. It's a setting you can walk back into. Imagine it's 11 p.m. and you're scrolling on your phone. You see a post from your once close friend in Europe, the one who left. You feel the pull. The version of you who moved flickers into the room. And for the first time, you see it happening. Not as a verdict on your life, just as weather. The mind doing what it does, showing you every road it can imagine, so you can walk the one you're actually on. You don't have to fix your life to make it stop. You stop believing it means something, and it stops meaning something. Every life you didn't live is a life someone else is living right now. Not necessarily better, not necessarily worse. Just one where the small decisions went the other way. The mind will keep showing you those lives, it always will. Seneca wrote it 2,000 years ago. It is not that we have a short life to live, it is that we waste much of it. The coffee's getting cold. The person next to you is only this age once. You are only this age once. This is the life that's actually happening, and in this life you still have choices to make.